But basically, kind of it's freestyle, right? There are so many, like you said, there are so many different types of skills that exist. And so what's the right rope size is basically, that this is the big question, right? The right way to kind of view rope sizing, my philosophy on rope sizing is that you begin with 3 feet plus your height, which that comes from RX Smart Gear. Again, referencing where we've learned from, right? 3 feet plus your height. That's a great place to begin if you're brand new. But once you've moved into crosses, swings, double under crosses, and now you're looking at toads, leg overs, some like swing cross doubles, maybe a push up or a mic release. Like once you get into those, you transition kind of out of the beginner phase and into this giant wide world of jump rope skills. You need a different size rope that's a little bit more tailored to freestyle. Typically what ends up happening is you take that 3 feet plus your height, or 92 centimeters plus your height length. So the length of the rope is your height plus 92 centimeters or 3 feet. You move away from that and go shorter down to a 2.5 feet or about 76 centimeters plus your height. So that's a pretty sizable chunk, but that's just a general recommendation. That's just an average of what we tend to see. But when you start to get into these skills, you start to practice them more, exactly like you're saying, Don, you're gonna notice it just kind of changes depending on the skill. This is where this is why a lot of jumpers have multiple ropes. This is why there's so many ropes. You have different ropes for different purposes. Obviously there's aesthetic reasons why, right? I know Maureen and I were talking about how many ropes you have. You got a lot of them. You have different ropes for different purposes, and this is, my philosophy is that you be a versatile jumper. My philosophy is that you have a wide variety, not only of different sizes, but different types as well. Long handle PVC, short handle PVC, long handle beaded, short handle beaded, all those 4 plus whatever other variations, different workout ropes, half pound, full pound, whatever. You're able to use all of them effectively, more or less, right? But of course, certain ropes have different applications. The same way a beaded rope has a different application than a 1 pound cable rope. Well, your beaded ropes, you can have multiple beaded ropes that have different applications depending on the skills you're working on. And a lot of this is, everyone who's here now is in this area of jump rope, which is exploration and figuring out style. This is why I hammer this idea of versatility and being aware and all this education, because I know that all of you are very new to jump rope. Even if you've been doing it 3 or 4 years, you're still very new to jump rope. And what's gonna happen is there's gonna be new styles, new things to try, new things you never thought you'd get, but then you do. And there's so many different things to test out that if you only do one style of jump rope, it can be very frustrating later to move between these. So in terms of the rope sizing, there's no exact length. Saying that there's one rope size for freestyle or for certain skills is kind of, if your goal is freestyle jump rope and exploration, right? If you're trying to test out skills, or you're not sure yet exactly the type of jump rope you want to do for the entire rest of your life, which is a big statement. If you're not sure about that, then there is no one exact size to use forever. I believe, my philosophy is that the process should be to constantly test. Constantly testing does not necessarily need to be, today I'm doing a 9-foot rope, tomorrow I'm doing an 8-foot rope, the next day I'm doing 8. Like, it doesn't have to be super dramatic. If you like that, you can do it, but it can be, the constantly testing can be spread out. It can be, you're trying out one kind of rope for a month or 3 months or 6 months, and then boom, you switch over. Or like every now and then you pick up your PVC, but you're mostly using a beaded, or vice versa, right? Great example, I used to use long handle PVC for my competitive jump rope for the majority of my jumping career. And then one day I was like, what about this short handle beaded rope? What can I do with that? And I wanted a new challenge. I wanted to see what it felt like. I saw people like Nick Woodard using it. And I'm like, well, if really good jumpers like Nick Woodard are using it, like, what's this all about, right? And as soon as I started using it, it was uncomfortable at first. And so I was kind of half and half. But very quickly, I just made the whole change into short handle beaded rope, and I don't really use long handle PVC. And I don't have an exact, like, I know the size of rope that I tend to use, but I don't when I size, a lot of times I'll change the size of my rope in the middle of me jumping to see what feels different, because it's very feel based. That should be the process for everyone now and for a while, is just to constantly change the size. If you're doing TSs and you're getting that rope wrapping up around your ankle, make it longer, right? If you're doing mix and wraps and it's feeling a little sloppy and it's slapping around, make it shorter, right? So Donna, it's kind of a long-winded answer, but there's not really, there is not an exact size. It's a process of exploration that ultimately will lead to you figuring out what your most enjoyable type of jumping is. And that tends to change.